Startup Awards was actually started back in 2018 with IIT Delhi. So this was, Entrepreneur was started almost at the same time when Startup India was started, year 2014-15. And after a few years of covering entrepreneurship we've been covering for last 5 decades. Entrepreneur is an American media group present in about 13 geographies. And we cover for last 5 decades the grassroots entrepreneurship across the globe, about 32 million unique visitors every month. So for that as a background, when IIT Delhi over a small conversation, we said, they had pride that, a lot of startups were coming from IIT Delhi and they wanted to encourage a few people. And that's how Startup Awards was initiated. And from there, I think the startup ecosystem has outgrown in many ways. And we, like Bhavna said, we really boost about 100,000, 200,000 registered startups, and I'll probably, if time permits, I'll share my story of last month, my wife registering with DPIIT as a startup. I was just sharing with her. But we have about 2,000 odd, 200,000 odd startups. We have every now we hear another 1,000 startups starting up. My team actually starts at about 8 in the morning till about 8 in the evening or even later. We have a group with all the journalists, and virtually every few minutes I've got a story on startup and that group which is either getting published or not getting published. So there's so much of noise and action about it. But if you really ask me, how many of these startups really survive or grow to an early stage growth? Less than 10%. And that's really. So first, I think before we celebrate the startups who are winning awards tonight, a round of applause for those 90% people who had the courage to start. They didn't see the light of early growth or early investor or probably the proof of concept, but they also endeavored to make a change, make an entrepreneurial journey. So I'll request all of you to please applaud people who start, who don't see the light of winning an award or getting published in a magazine or getting to the unicorn status, because their journey is also as inspiring as all of you guys. But it's equally important that out of the 10% who actually survive the early stage, very few actually reach the profitability and scalability of some of you who are present here. So it's a very rare company that we are getting to. So this year, when we were talking to EY, we had a very big disqualification. And I'll urge this, and I think we are trying at Entrepreneur to move a paper with the government and we were expecting this in this budget, which happened for SME sector a few years back. We still define startup as 100 crore slab. I think that ceiling has been broken long back. And I think that's a huge change that I can talk about in this platform today. That a lot of companies who still qualified to be defined as startup, we were not able to identify them because 0 to 100 is becoming so fast in this country, in this world. That's an amazing journey that we are talking about. And what we are really talking about, what has changed, another key point which has changed in startup as per our understanding in the last couple of years, nobody is talking about raising capital and frenzy growth. It's changed for the last couple of years. It's all about scalability with discipline. Real customers, real impact. And I think that's going to be a journey of next decade of startups. I mean, in my last 25, 26 years of career, I've only been around startup of one kind or another. I also wear a hat of a managing director for Franchise India, a company which largely works on the grassroots business opportunity space. And I think 26 years I've only interacted with business owners and entrepreneurs. But what really excites me, and I think at Entrepreneur also we really talk about that, it's not about the hype. It's not about the headlines and the valuation you get. It's about real products. I was just sharing, I have just come back from a very large show in Dubai. It's called Gulf Food. I don't know how many of you really know about it. And they had a Gulf food startups. And I saw a great amount of work which was done by Indian D2C companies. Amazing products Indians were building. And coincidentally, our government was all over in that show. It was a very large show. One of the two largest shows in Dubai, contributes to maybe 3 to 4% of GDP of Dubai. And we were really proud that Indians were really making a big thing. So it's not about growth at any cost is what I'm seeing right now. What I'm seeing is the conversation has actually matured to say that, what kind of governance you're saying, what kind of profitability, what kind of discipline you're maintaining. So at Entrepreneur India, we took a bit of a pivot a few years back, and we said that we would only qualify a startup when he actually enters in an early stage. And that's a change we are wanting to bring going forward. We want to really look at the overall entrepreneurship space, which I think we've been doing. And we've also moved this show from Bangalore. So after IIT Delhi for a few years, we moved this show to Bangalore with government of Karnataka wanting to sort of bring a positive impact. And from there, we've come back for the first time to the Pragati Maidan, which is a great venue. And I wish you all a great success. Congratulations to all who are winning. And enjoy the evening. And thank you very much for taking time to join us. Thank you.